Tuesday on NBC. Jimmy Fallon and Bozoma St. John host the highly anticipated new competition show.
I hired 10 creatives from all walks of life. They will be battling it out to see who can impress the world's biggest brands.
This is a huge opportunity.
This is the battle for the next big idea.
This is not play.
We're spending millions of dollars.
I'm so excited to embark on this adventure with all of you.
May the best idea win!
On Brand with Jimmy Fallon. Series premiere Tuesday on NBC.
What is going on, everybody? Ryan Leary, William Tincup. Thank you for listening and watching Inside the C-Suite. We are speaking today with Sagar from Multiplier, co-founder, CEO of Multiplier. Sagar, welcome into the show. We're going to learn all about his background, his entrepreneurial spirit, and how we got to Multiplier. We're going to learn all about his journey, what makes him tick, and kind of dig into his brain a little bit and see if we can learn a little something. So, Sagar, welcome to the show. It's nice to have you.
Thank you, Ryan and William. Pleasure to be here, and thank you, everyone. Looking forward to be on the show.
Oh, it's great to have you. So why don't we start off, introduce yourself to the audience, and if I mispronounce your name, which we'll all laugh about because of the pre-show goofs, you can correct me if I did, but why don't you give yourself an intro and let the audience know a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, tell us about Multiplier, man.
Yeah. No, thanks, folks. So I'm Sagar, and Ryan, trust me, I wouldn't mind if you get my name wrong. That happens to me all the time. So I'm Sagar. I'm co-founder and CEO of Multiplier, born and brought up in India, currently based between Singapore and New York. So Multiplier is a global employment platform that helps companies employ talent globally without having to set up their legal entities. The mission that we started Multiplier was very simple. World is going global. Great employees rather, are located across the globe. So how can you get access to those employees without really struggling with the compliance associated with it, which is payroll, taxes, insurance, and so on and so forth. So let's say if you're an American business and you wake up and you realize, hey, I need some great accountants in Philippines. How can we make it easier for them so that they can go and find those accountants, but we take care of the payroll, compliance, benefit, taxes, right, and they don't need to open an entity for that. So that's where Multiplier helps.
Which is, obviously, William, you and I have been talking about this. Payroll companies and HR across different countries around the globe is just way too complex for someone to handle. Every country that's there.
We just interviewed the CHRO of Aflac, and she was talking about her experience. She lived in Denmark, and then she started doing a lot of global HR. And back then, when she was doing it, it was really more than a Wild West. You had to create a local entity or work with a local entity, and like getting payroll done in Brazil was completely different than it was in the Philippines, as you mentioned. Like everything was completely different. There wasn't the technology partnerships that there are today. There was the ease of use, and also it created a lot of friction for employees. So I think you're in the hottest subcategory of work tech that there is. I mean, it's, again, to your point, we are global. We've been global for a long time. However, the technology hadn't been there for us to do it as efficiently as it is now. And so you're dealing with complexity of companies that, they're doing business in, 160 different countries, and they can still do payroll like it was doing it in, just New York. So, as I understand it, at least.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, as you correctly pointed out, William, businesses are going global. We live in a world where talent crunch is a real problem. I've been in Singapore for quite some time now. I divide my time between New York and Singapore. In Singapore, we require 50 to 100,000 software developers every year, but the schools there only produce 2,000-3,000. So how do businesses get in Singapore get access to those crucial talent for their economy to grow? And that's where a business like Multiplier comes into picture, where now these companies and the problem is even more enhanced in the US because the economy is bigger and talent crunch is even higher. so how do these companies in New York, in San Francisco, get access to talent globally at their fingertips? That's where Multiplier comes in.
I love it. I love it. Where in India did you grow up? Whereabouts?
Yeah, so grew up in the central part of India, like right bang in the center, a place called Nagpur. And I don't think not many people know it, but uh, my grandfather and my grandparents were refugees. 1947, we were ruled by British back in the day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Country was partitioned, and overnight there was a lot of movement happening. So grandparents came to India during 1947 partition, moved to New Delhi, and then slowly moved to a place called Nagpur, and then that's where I was born.
Wow. So you know all about cricket, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Dude, every time I go to India, I watch cricket on TV, and I come back more confused.
I don't get it. Yeah,
dude, it's hard. There's a team that plays here locally.
We have one
it's
as
a
well,
park,
man.
and I've been out there, and I'm like, hey, can I play? And they're like,
they look at you like, yeah, no,
like,
you take them. We don't want them. He's on your team.
And I'll try. Like I've tried to hit. Man, it's insane. It is really, really hard. So where did you go to school? Where did you go to college or university?
Yeah, so I went to university in Mumbai, a college called IIT Bombay. Fair bit of American MNCs have Indian CEOs, your Google, your Microsoft, your Starbucks, and all of them come from one school in India or one college, which is IIT, Indian Institute of Technology. So I was very lucky to go to
I was about to say, that's
college.
like MIT. That's like MIT here, right?
Yes, that's what they compare
hard to
it with
get into.
typically. Yeah, and especially with numbers, because everything in India, we are 1.4 billion people, so numbers start to look really big, whatever cut you take.
We talked to somebody the other day, and they went to MIT, and we caught the nuance of that they took their SAT multiple. They had taken it multiple times, got perfect score on their SAT, but they took it multiple times. I'm like, you took the SAT multiple times? You had a perfect score.
Because
it's like but they had to show that they could get a perfect score multiple times. I'm like, damn, we live in different places here. Oh boy.
Look, I accepted.
Game is different.
I went to any state school that would accept me, and that was Temple University. That was it. That's where I ended up going. Just wasn't
his
a thing
school.
For me.
I know his school because Mumbai used to be under British rule was called Bombay, and one of my business school, one of my cohorts, Sunil Kotak, he invited me to his sister's wedding in Bombay, and I didn't go because I had a conflict. I couldn't go, but it's Kotak Investments, so it's his father's really, really wealthy. And it would have been wheels off, but a lot of kids from my business school went to your school because it's Harvard, it's MIT, it's Stanford, whatever your favorite American kind of analogy is. So great education, good for you. Nice. What did you do? What was the first thing out of college? What did you do out of college?
It's a very, very interesting story, William. So I did my bachelor's in IIT, and for an exchange, I was in Michigan for a few months, and I thought, hey, I love this place, and I would come back and do PhD here in Detroit, out of all places.
Clearly, you're not from the States.
I was about to say, you're going from hot to cold. Whoa! All right, okay, all right.
And then I went back, and somehow that plan didn't materialize. And I come from a very, how should I say, family with no means. It was, childhood was very interesting, struggling to grow, and so money was a primary driver in life. So I thought, hey, what profession gives you the most amount of money? And the answer was very simple: investment banking, so consulting, investment banking, and so on and so forth. So I started with Nomura. Yeah, so I spent first 5 years working with them, a couple of years in Tokyo, next 3 years in Singapore. So that's how the career started about.
So you're in kind of finance anyhow. You were already in finance. How'd you get over, or what was after that? I don't want to say Multiplier, but how'd you get out of finance?
Yeah, so again, very, very interesting story, William. So I started a couple of years in Tokyo, then 3 years in Singapore, and I thought, hey, I've always had the dream of studying in the US. So why not pursue it now? Remember that the dream that I had in IIT? So I thought maybe let's, create a perfect resume to go to Harvard Business School, right? But let's say let's write GMAT and let's try for HBS as in any other Indian kid who goes to IIT. And luckily, I have a very close friend who is a partner at Sequoia now, Peak 15, and a senior from IIT Bombay. And he said, hey, why don't you try startups? And I said, what is startup? He said, these are tech companies we invest in, and they can have the potential to become really big, and so on and so forth. So I met a couple of. He obviously has a partner. He was on a few boards in Singapore. So I met a couple of his co-founders, and I found.
Hey, I'm Katie Van Horn. And I'm Jackie Clayton. We're your hosts of the Inclusive AF podcast, where we take on DEI, leadership, and HR without all the corporate fluff. That's right. We've got decades of experience, a lot of opinions, and zero tolerance for performative anything. Every week, we dig into what it really takes to build inclusive workplaces with honesty, strategy, and a few side eyes. We'll talk about the tough stuff, power dynamics, privilege, what's broken in the system, and how we can all do better. And don't worry, it's not all heavy. We bring receipts, laughs, and real talk from people actually doing the work. Think of it as your weekly dose of truth, tips, and a little tea to help you lead with intention and show up for your people. So if you're ready to push past the buzzwords and get into the actual work of inclusion, you're in the right place. So subscribe to the Inclusive AF podcast. New episodes drop every week. Catch us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be here breaking it down one inclusive convo at a time.
The way they talk about their ideas, the company that they are building, really, really exciting. And I used to be a boring banker with all Excels and numbers running in my head. And I thought, hey, this is something pretty cool that I've not experienced before. And I was primarily in oil and gas sector, which used to have large cash flows, unlike startups which are burning cash. So I thought, hey, this might be something very interesting. And that's how I ended up joining a startup where I was a CFO for a couple of years before Multiplier.
So you got out of finance or out of banking.
Yeah.
Sort of. Then you became CFO of startups. So maybe let's start there then because I'm kind of getting the picture. This is where your journey really begins in terms of getting the bug to become an entrepreneur. Have your own startup. What was different for you? What was the difference between the investment world, corporate, versus getting into a startup? How did that look for you?
So I think that was life-changing. So I got into this startup. I was heading corp dev, finance, and I think I spent a year and a half there, and I was the right-hand man for the founder, and I did everything for him. I learned how to build a product. I learned the art of digital marketing, which I didn't exist. I learned how investors are willing to take risks on companies in lieu of future cash flows and so on and so forth. So it absolutely, I remember the one massive realization that I had is that building a business in today's generation is accessible to a common man.
100%.
Yeah.
Anybody with a brilliant idea and desire to execute today has wherewithal and tools available and capital available to build a business. And that's where I thought, hey, I will also build a business. And I quit that company and started Multiplier.
And even with AI and generative AI, it's even democratized it even more. Because now you don't even have to, before you and Ryan and I, we didn't have to know how to do code. We'd have to get a technology co-founder. Right? Now I can go write code using AI. So technically, I haven't done it, but technically I could go write the program. Whereas before, you still had a bit of dependence on a technology co-founder, right?
Yeah.
I gotta go to your CFO before we get to starting, because we want to dig in all into how you started it and all that stuff. Thesis. We have not interviewed a CFO on the show. So now,
I don't
Ryan,
think that'd be fun.
No,
I mean,
dude.
I'm
Really?
just saying.
All right.
Look,
Tell us the job. Break down, demystify the CFO, because so many of the people in HR and in recruiting, they view the CFO not necessarily as the enemy, but the miser, the person that's like the no department, like on all deals and everything like that. You worked in the trenches. What was the hardest part of being a CFO?
Yeah. So, because I came from banking and IT and whatnot, I was a CFO. I was, of course, leading accounting and taxation and whatnot.
Right.
But more than that, I was a real close business partner of the CEO. So, HR reported into me. Some of the ops department reported into me, board, investor, everything. So, I think in real high growth companies, CFO has a very important role to play. And, sometimes in some cultures and in some jurisdictions, there's a notion that CFO is an accountant,
Right.
which is not true, because CFO's main job is to guide CEO on capital allocation. Now, that word is very, very key, capital allocation strategy. Like, where should I invest more money so that I can get the highest return on investment? And so that's where I ended up doing everything. I was, helping them raise capital, running the boards, running the investors, running the finance department, HR department, some of operations. And what was the toughest thing that I did? I think two. One is telling the CEO, who was a great storyteller and you love to make promises, like, no, quite a few times, because that's what you end up doing. And the second thing I still remember was running payroll. We were 300 people, 4 countries, Singapore, Japan, Australia, and Hong Kong. And I was running payroll, and I was like, I hated my life.
And this is where
because you can't get it wrong. You can't get payroll. I mean, you're going to have errors here and there, but like most of everything else in HR, you can have a mistake or two, and people aren't going to kill you. But their paycheck is something that, as best you can, the error rate has to be very, very low.
Absolutely.
So you took the responsibility of paying 200 people, running payroll, into building a global organization now that handles all of this.
Yeah. So Ryan, so as part of the CFO duty, because when you are a real CFO, I mean, the real CFO is a real business partner to the board, not just to the CEO. So as a real CFO, one of the portfolio that I was managing was international expansion. So we acquired a couple of companies, Australia, expanded to Japan. And when I expanded to Australia, and I will tell you about the payroll story as well. When I expanded to Australia, it took 7 months to open a bank account. 7 months. And if to our viewers who are not familiar with Asia, Australia is by far the most developed GDP per capita country in Asia. So imagine if Australia took 7 months, and until you have a bank account in place, you cannot run payroll, you cannot hire people. And then I expanded to Japan, it took 1 year to open a bank account and an entity and get business started. So that's where really the idea of Multiplier came about, where, hey, companies are going to go global one way or the other. And global is so broken, so there has to be a better solution where I can expand to a new country, I can hire a talent in new country in 3 clicks and 1 minute.
So, first of all, how did you find your co-founder? What was the story? What's the story there?
It's a very interesting story. I have 2 co-founders. One is Amrit. He's based in New York, Brooklyn. He's moved here from Singapore roughly 8 months ago with his family. He's 4th generation Singaporean. and then Vamsi, who is based in Singapore as well, who's a batchmate of IIT. So the story goes, filled with my experience.
I love how this is starting already. Yeah. The story goes, three guys walk into a bar.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I kind of feel like, yeah.
All right, go ahead. Sorry I interrupted.
No, so filled with my experience and, with great experience of expanding to Australia and getting, feeling all miserable and then running payroll, I went to my board member, who's from Sequoia then, and said, hey, I think I love doing this. I'm going to drop my MBA plans and I would love to start the business. And he said, so what do you want to start? I said, I identified these pain points and this is, I drew something on a piece of paper for him. This is something I want to do. And met him a couple of times. He said, great, we would love to fund this and, be a part of your journey. And, we've had very close relationships. They've seen me working. We went to the same university and whatnot.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
So they said, okay, good, we'll fund you. I raised $4 million of seed round. Even before I quit the company that I was working for, and took the money and then started the business. And that's where I said, oh, but you now have money and, you're going to start the business, but you need co-founders. So great, never thought about it. So he said, my best friend from college is Vamsi, IIT Bombay Computer Science. I said, I know one guy, let me call him. I called him, I said, you're joining me from tomorrow. He said, where are we going to Bali? I said, no, we are starting a business. I said, okay, great. So he joined in. Not that he had much of a choice. So he joined in and he was product in tech. Then I went to him again. I said, guys, great. I have a co-founder now.
I'm assuming he has some skill that you need.
Oh yeah,
right.
He's your tech co-founder, right?
He's a tech co-founder, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then my board member said, hey, we also, in a B2B SaaS business that you're building, we'll also need somebody who can sell it. I said, okay, great. Haven't thought about that either. They went on to LinkedIn and figured out who are the greatest salespeople in HR domain in Singapore, hit everybody, found this perfect gentleman, went and convinced him and his wife why they should leave their very lucrative job and join Multiplier as a co-founder. And then eventually asked them to leave Singapore, which is super comfortable, and move to New York. So I would say I've not done bad in convincing people in life.
It's a reluctant hero. This is a reluctant hero story.
I feel like the messages I get on LinkedIn I should stop ignoring.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them could turn out pretty good.
100%.
I could just see the investors now. Great, you never thought about a salesperson. Check. Never thought about a tech. Check. All right, we're on.
But the basis of the idea, the napkin, the idea was good enough. A great investor can just look at that and go, I can figure out the rest of the stuff. I got the right guy. I got the right idea. Yeah. The rest of the stuff I can fill in. I mean, especially somebody like Sequoia.
Yeah, so let's dig into as much as we can. You have an idea on a piece of paper. No co-founders. You have $4 million. You found your two co-founders. Where do you go from there? That's a lot of money to have an idea. So what do you do with that, and how do you get yourself started here?
Yeah, no, and I think, and this is all Singapore, and Singapore is like a village. Everybody knows everybody. So your
Yep.
reputation is very important. I mean, these people knew that Sagar will take care of my money better than his own personal money.
That's
So
right.
that's why they're willing to bet cash on you. But again, coming back to your question, once you have money, once you have co-founders, we quit our job. I'm an expat in Singapore, so I applied for my visas and so on and so forth. By the way, which is still a pain in the ass, which we are solving for.
Right.
No matter who you, you still need
True.
a employment agreement and a visa and everything to start the business. So still remember like one thing that we were very keen on is to make sure only build stuff that people will buy.
Right.
Like there are a lot of companies which love to build products and features which eventually don't sell. So we were very sure that we're gonna build something, or we're gonna start building once we know that customer's gonna buy. So I remember November 2020 when I quit my job, open an entity and so on and so forth. And we reached out to and we talked to, in over a period of 2 months, 400 HR leaders. And we talked to these 400 HR leaders, and I said, hey, this is what we plan to build for you.
Yes.
Would you buy? And
Genius.
still remember, we officially launched in April 2021. But even before that, we had customers paying money to us for the product that we still haven't launched in the market.
Right.
So real idea was making sure I go and sell first. I know these people are interested. They started to pay me. And now I'm really building a product around the service that I promised them that I would deliver to them.
Well, these are people that are also helping you shape the product as well.
Absolutely.
While you're doing this, could you also add this? Or we have problem, like you said, benefits. We have trouble delivering benefits. Like, okay, well, we're thinking just payroll, but okay, well, all right, we can deliver benefits. So they're a part of your roadmap, and they're also now, once you go back to them and said, hey, we built the thing that you asked us to build. That's easy. It's sales. You still got to sell them, true, but it's so much easier because they helped you validate the business, and you went and built what they validated. It's so much easier because it's like, hey, we built the thing you asked us to build.
No, absolutely.
Now what?
And William, the best part is, I mean, now we are a scaled company. We have 500 employees. We have a couple of thousand customers. But those initial 20, 30, 40 customers, those were the customers who really helped us make design choices, as I would love to call it. Like those design choices are very important. But a later thing that has happened is now getting those earlier adopters who were essentially just knowing me and Amrit and Vamsi as their customer success managers, having their WhatsApp numbers, our WhatsApp numbers with them, getting them to finally adopt to know that, hey, Multiplier is a professional business now. You will get a customer success manager who may not be a CEO of the company, and you need to now contact support hasn't gone well.
Yeah, there's so many questions there. So
they're used to calling you on a Saturday and saying, hey, I'm having this trouble. Can you turn this? I don't know how to reset your login. Stop calling me.
So at what point do you say, okay, we're at the point, we're mature, right? We're a business now, and we need to make some key hires, right? So one, when did you come to that realization, and then who were your key hires, your first key hires?
Yeah.
What positions?
So Ryan, I as a CFO, I saw firsthand how important it is to get the right hires in the beginning itself. And if you are building a B2B SaaS platform, your technology is super key, and the design choices and the languages that you use and so on and so forth.
Hey, it's Libby DeLucian. If you're sick of business advice that sounds cute, but doesn't actually move the needle forward, this one's for you. The Libby DeLucian podcast is where we go one layer deep. No gurus, no glitter, just straight up unfiltered talk about scaling a business, running a household, and holding on to your sanity in the middle of the chaos. If you're the bottleneck in your business or in your own life, I'll show you how to fix it. Simple, tactical, and one layer deep every time. Let's go. Visit libbyd.com and check out our podcast today.
So although my co-founder Vamsi is from product and tech background, and that to IIT Bombay, creme de la creme, my first hire was a professional CTO who spent years building a SaaS product, who was SVP at Alibaba in Singapore, which is a massive firm.
Yeah.
And I still remember it took me 3 months to convince him to come and join. So he was our first employee. But I knew if I'm really investing the peak period of my life in building Multiplier, I would like to go all in and make sure from scratch we are making the right decision. So that is one thing that we've been doing good at Multiplier, where we don't pretend that we know everything about sales, marketing, finance. We know that we've gotten something good going. Now let us get super experienced people who believe in our idea, who have a similar working style as us, so that we can communicate with them easily, but bring them and let them build a professional business. So our CTO was our first ever senior hire, and he was our first hire.
So you seem really easygoing. Like I can see myself working with you, working for you. Okay. What drives, let me ask it this way. What are the types of people that thrive around you? What do you need that are around you? What are the types of people that you thrive around as well?
So, the beautiful part about starting a business is you can create values of your business which are similar to you. So the values of business today is 3 T's: trust, transparency, and thoroughness, which are my personal values in life. So I love to work with people who I can blindly trust. Trust is the currency to do business. I shouldn't need to double gaze your attitude or your expertise on a particular topic. The second is transparency, which is I would love to share what I feel about you. You should do the same. You would know what Sagar is good at, what he's bad at, what he's failing at, and I would love to have that relationship with you. And third is thoroughness, which is once you say I'm going to take care of it, you see to it. No passing the buck at 99% and so on and so forth. So I love these kind of people who are extremely humble, extremely optimistic, extremely compassionate, but are truth-seeking, realistic in life, and know exactly where they are today. So those are the values they're the kind of people that I like to work with. One of the values internally we joke about is, we call it being articulate, but jokingly I like to call it don't speak too much English. So I like people who are very precise, and who speaks the language of finance rather than language of English.
I think he just took a shot at us.
No.
I'm kidding.
It's having ROI-based conversations. Like we're going to come, if you're in marketing, or if you're in sales, or if you're come with an ROI. Yeah. Tell me this story and back it up with data.
Not everything needs to be a 60-minute meeting.
Yeah.
So you've had, I'm sure, you guys, you're not that old. The company, right? You're fairly young.
It's growing really fast.
I'm sure, and I'm sure you've seen some dips, and in your journey there. Maybe take us through some of those walls that you've hit, and how did you kind of punch through those? Because you've 500 employees in 3 years or so.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's pretty commendable. So
that's pretty rapid.
Yeah. No, trust me, the company has grown. So did the problems and the challenges that we face today.
Right.
In fact, very recently, I wrote a post to my team saying, if the size of the problems are not growing, are you even growing? So the size of the problem also talks about what level are you dealing in life with, right? So, few stories on that end, we thought, hey, we are going to build a greatest platform where, people would look at it and they would, just instantly know what to do with it. And so in that scenario, what we ended up doing is we didn't build any customer success and customer support team, because we thought this is fully self-serve. And because I spent 20 hours a day looking at it, I thought everybody will understand what I see in it.
100%.
And I remember this was around 2020. So we launched in April 2021, August 2021, we go full force. And around April 2022, around end of 2022, we realized there are a lot of queries coming from the customers, and we are confused what's happening. And then we realized we forgot to build customer success team. We forgot to build customer support team. So who would they reach out to? I remember we built, like I used to interview 15 people every day. In 1 week, I built a team of 35 people in 1 week. It was just one of those days where we needed it right away. And I mean, I don't know if I can do that today. I don't know if I can do 16, 17 interviews today and build that team, because now we're big, we have systems, processes, blah, blah, blah. But like back in the day, we just did it. And I trained the entire team on, hey, this is how you will reach out to customers. This is, if they ask you this question, this is our SOP. This is Zendesk, which was the first time we learned about Zendesk, about ticketing management tools and so on and so forth. It was the first ever, you build a company and you realize like, oh, you missed something, and then, you have to fix it right away.
We forgot a customer team.
It's
just funny.
It's like a house, right? There's always something that you're learning about your house, or there's something that needs improvement. And the same thing is true of a company. You might not. I mean, you're saying you forgot about it, or whatever. But truth is as a part of your success, something then happened, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, we need to do something to fix that. So I think some of that's natural. I think a lot of entrepreneurs they don't start off with a perfect, everything's perfect. There's no such thing. They get into it, have either failure, success, or whatever, and then all of a sudden they realize that they have to do stuff, and they're decisive. Like when you realize, hey, customers need to be able to go somewhere to be able to answer these questions. I can't help but think that it didn't take you 6 months to figure out a solution, which is what you do in corporate. It's like, no, we need to build this tomorrow. So, that I think that's just natural.
William, one more thing, just to add there, one more thing. Sure. I mean, the beauty of it is, if you have given true value to your customers, they will stand by you. I mean,
100%.
In the journey, you will miss a thing or two. Some features will get delayed. Some replies will get delayed. But they will stand by you as long as they know you deliver real value to the product. And I think transparency, and transparency.
See, they got to like you. That's what that's what a lot of American companies get wrong, especially when they go abroad, is they're not likable.
No, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I was just going to ask you, how do you? And William, I think you just answered it for me, at least in my head. But I'll ask the question now. Sure. How do you continue to move forward? You said clients stick by you, right? So they realized, hey, you don't have customer support. You're not servicing us, but they trusted you enough to allow you to build that team, and you built it quickly, right? So how do you manage? One, how do you manage that process? But two, what do you say to the entrepreneur who's out there now who has to make this same decision and make these hires, and they're afraid to pull the trigger and say, I'm going to hire these 30 people to be my customer success team. I'm going to do it in the next 7 days. And if they don't work out, well, then I'm going to move on from them. What do you say to them? How do you get them to be that decisive?
Yeah. So one of the good thing about life at Multiplier, Ryan and William, is between three of us, there is no specific department that if need be, we cannot pick up. I mean, in different times, I've done finance, I've done customer success, I've done customer support, I've done payroll, I've done everything, right? So when we didn't have that department, it was three of us working 22 hours a day, just making sure we are there for customers. And that's where customers remembered, like, hey, I bought it from this guy who didn't have a product. I loved his passion. I loved how he spoke about it. And you know what? Yes, they're a bit delayed in building the customer support function, but he's sitting there in the office answering all my query, not going home, and so on and so forth. So that is what we call moment of truth. So you have to be there. I mean, as a founder, you don't have a funny choice of work-life balance. I mean, that work doesn't even exist in our lives. You have to be there. You ought to be there when the customer wants. And, still there are days where I work 20 hours a day. So that's one. The second point, what would I advise? You see, right, now that we're in US, we have a big office in New York. we have access to all the American know-how. Now, America has known the art of building SaaS companies for generations. That doesn't exist in Asia. That doesn't exist in Singapore. So the amount of guidance that you get in Singapore or India and other countries is limited. So I said, if now I think that as the economies are evolving, we didn't know that we need a customer success team. I mean, we just didn't know it. I mean, it's not that we were trying to save money or whatever. We just didn't know it. We thought, SaaS is fully self-serve and customers just use it and they don't want to talk to anybody, and that's why they're using the product.
Yeah, right.
Today, the advice to entrepreneurs would be, if I have to highlight one point that is differentiating Multiplier today, apart from the great product that we have, is customer service. We're a human-centric company. We're a global human platform. You have a query, we have omni-channel support, we have customer success manager, we have onboarding manager, we have HR expertise in HR experience specialist in each jurisdiction, and so on and so forth. Like, we have built such a great customer success ecosystem that you talk to one of our representatives and you will feel happy. I mean, they will not solve your problems. They will not just solve your problems. They will definitely solve your problem, but you will feel happy talking to them. So from going from having nobody in customer success and support to today globally being known in G2 and Captiva for having the best success team ever was quite a journey.
It's become core to your business, become core to your success. One of the things I love about this interview is that you're truly values-based. A lot of people give lip service to values, but I can tell just by the conversations and stories that you're giving, you hire to it, you promote to it, you fire to it. Again, those values are not just words on a wall. Those words are how you live, how the business grows. Last question for me that I have is, you had mentioned that you came from humble beginnings. The entrepreneurs that I've been fortunate to interact with that come from humble beginnings, they know how to stretch a dollar. That's one. Two, they think differently. Again, I can't put my finger on how that is, but they just think differently about solving problems and about making people happy and about success in general. So how does your humble beginnings, how does that manifest in Multiplier?
Yeah, no, William, that's a brilliant question. Thank you for asking that. I think all of that you said is very true. I think one thing that really, now that I'm at the age, I can reflect back in the journey and the privilege of having resources to reflect back. I think resilience is the one word that comes to mind. I mean, I think practically, unless you physically kill me, you cannot beat me down. Because I've come from whatever, having two meals was a difficult challenge, but today when life is good and settled and so on and so forth, you have not forgotten where you come from, which means the resilience is very, very strong. So even
and your family hasn't forgot, and your family hasn't let you forget where you came from. That's different.
So resilience is so important, because tomorrow I know if anything happens, if any of my head of department quits, I will be there and I will be in trenches taking care of it, and it wouldn't affect me even a bit, because this is where I come from. So I would say the number one quality that you grow up with when you come from humble beginnings and a driven, aspirational individual is resilience. And resilience is so important while building a business.
Sagar, this has been really enlightening conversation. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey. We're going to continue to watch you be gobbled
take
up
over
by,
the world. Take over the
just
world.
Take it all.
Go public.
Yeah. Don't forget the little guys when you do.
Yeah,
remember, it was this interview that set you off.
No, not at all.